So lately I've actually been getting a lot of questions about me being transgender and what it means and how I came to discover that I'm trans and all of this sort of stuff. So what I decided to do for a topic video this week is go through some queer terms so that everyone is not quite as confused as to what everything means. So when you see this whole list here, the first thing that comes to people's minds is, see, there's too many, people are making them up. All of these are made up of the same prefixes and suffixes, and they are all found in the dictionary. So as long as you know basic vocabulary, you're good to go. So we're going to go over the definitions that we're going to use here first. The first three are the spectrums that we're going to talk about. They are the gender, sexuality, and romantic. Gender is what someone identifies as. Sexuality is relating to sex. And romantic is expressing love or strong affection. Then the other ones are queer, which means not conventional. Cis, which is this side. Demi is half. Trans is changing. Fluid is not fixed or readily changing. Gray is between white and black. Homo is same. Bi is two. Pan is all. A is not any particular. And preference is favor. So we're going to start with the gender spectrum. One end is the label boy, and on the other end is girl. These are the binary genders. Easy enough, right? If you identify with what you were born as, you are cisgender. Remember that cis means this side. So when you are born a male and you say you are a cisgender male, you are saying, I am on this side of the binary scale. Cisgender is basically the term used to avoid the word normal, since queer means non-conventional. This purple line represents transgender. This is a person who is going from one end of the spectrum to the other, hence the arrows on both sides. I'm going to add a black dot off to the side. This is agender, meaning not any in particular gender. We're going to add this squiggly line. This is gender fluid, meaning not fixed and readily changing gender. Now we're going to add another dot in the middle for demigender. This is half gender. A good way to understand demigender is to think of an agender person who leans toward a particular binary gender, boy or girl. Gray gender isn't the actual term. The actual term is genderqueer. But if you are talking to a queer person and you say, I don't know the actual term, but it's like gray gender, they'll know what you're talking about. Genderqueer people are not necessarily any label. It's a not otherwise specified type of label for the gender spectrum. Bigender people are those who identify with both genders. The sexual spectrum has two parts. The first is frequency, and the second is who. The top of the line is going to be labeled hyper for hypersexual, and the bottom is ace for asexual. Hypersexual are people that have a lot of sexual feelings and urges, whereas asexual people rarely have sexual feelings. Demisexual, or using the definitions half or less sexual, are people who only feel sexually for those that they are already very emotionally attached to and romantically interested in. Gray sexual is likely determined before, neither here nor there, sexuality not otherwise specified. Now remember the gender chart that we went through. Now I'm about to blow your minds. It is the exact same thing for the romantic spectrum. Last thing you're going to do is learn how to identify yourself. This is where that gender chart we made could be super helpful. Just a reminder, we've got binary, gender fluid, demigender, agender, genderqueer, and transgender. And yet the attraction terms are probably the easiest. For identification, we've got hetero, homo, bi, pan, and a. All you have to do is add the word romantic or sexual. And since we know what romantic and sexual mean, that's all there is. So, I am a transgender, panromantic, demisexual. So now that we know all of that, it means that I am changing gender. I can be romantically attracted to anyone on the gender spectrum. but I only have sexual attraction when I have a strong emotional connection to someone and I am also romantically interested in them. So now that we've learned all of that, what are you? Let me know in all of the comments. Bye, guys.